And it didn't. Okay, this is take 2 on part 2 of chapter 5 and 6. Let's see if I can remember where I was. For some reason, I had a user error. Alright, I was finishing up chapter 5 and I was talking about textbooks. We were talking about reading to learn and how we can improve our concentration while reading. You need to know that textbooks in the major disciplines or areas of academic study are much different in their organization of the textbook, and their styles of writing. The table of contents will help you with seeing how each chapter is organized. Look at the glossary as well as the index. Most of the time, these types of college textbooks have appendices, which provide supplementary materials at the end of the book that you can refer to. I mentioned that the early childhood book course that I teach, the textbook does have supplementary materials in the appendices. Pay attention to charts, graphs, boxes, diagrams, etc. Textbooks are different. Math and science textbooks are filled with graphs, figures, definitions, sample problems, technical symbols, etc. Social sciences and humanities textbooks such as sociology, psychology, anthropology, economics, political science, and history are often filled with special terms that go along with that particular field of study. These textbooks investigate human beings, their culture, and their self-expression, such as the philosophy, religion, literature, music, and art. If at any time you are having problems reading and comprehending college textbooks, please seek help at the Learning Centers at North Georgia Technical College. Each campus has a learning center, and at Currahee, I believe the room numbers are 209 and 603. 209 is a few doors down from the classroom that we are in. The very last part of Chapter 6 was a little section about people that are learning English as a second language. And I put a poem there to talk about why English is so hard. I just thought you all would enjoy that because it really is a difficult language to learn. And the next page in our notes is a sheet of English idioms. People that learn English as a second language have trouble understanding idioms. This particular set of idioms are some examples that we use to about time. Chapter 6. We actually have a question that goes for Chapter 6. Chapter 6, the essential question is, what are some effective study strategies that you can implement? Well, we've already talked about in Chapter 5 how to concentrate, reading to learn, and how to concentrate and to improve your concentration. This chapter focuses more on memory and improving your memory. And you do have the ability to improve your concentration and your memory. First of all, review. From Chapter 1, we talked about short-term memory. Short-term memory has to do with how many items you are able to understand and remember at one time. You can store information for about 30 seconds. And you can handle from about 5 to 9 chunks of information at a time. Information is either forgotten or moved to long-term memory. And I told the class tonight as an example, teaching children to learn the multiplication facts. It takes a while sometimes to get those moved over to the long-term memory, and we'll talk about some strategies that will help with that in just a minute. Long-term memory is the capacity to retain and recall information over the long term, sometimes just for hours and sometimes up to years. Can be divided into 3 categories. There's procedural memory, which deals with knowing how to do something such as solving a math problem, driving a car, riding a bike, cooking a meal. Semantic memory involves facts and meanings without regard to where and when you learn these. For example, word meanings. Important dates such as your mom's birthday. Do you know it? Episodic memory deals with particular events, their time and their place. For example, vacation. You might remember a vacation you took to Disney World when you were a child, or a vacation you took to the beach when you were a child. Your first day of school, or the moment, those of you mothers and even fathers that were there to witness it, the moment your child was born. I remember all three of mine very in detail. And of course, I did mention in class tonight that a lot of times we know people that have problems with memory, dementia, or I can't think of the other. Anyway, people as they age tend to have problems with memory. That's not unusual. But for some reason, it's interesting that a lot of times they can remember things from their childhood better than they can remember like their long-term memory, things that are there in their long-term memory, as opposed to things that like what they ate for their last meal. There are some myths about memory at the top of page 123. Take a look at those and see if you think maybe some of those were something you thought that was true, but it's just a myth. It's not true. How to improve your memory. Just like trying to improve your ability to concentrate, you can improve your memory. Visual learners may remember by visualizing where something appears on the page. Oral learners may remember by hearing a recording of something. Kinesthetic learners might need to walk or move as they read something or try to remember something. Things you can do, you can use review sheets such as the recall column of the Cornell notes that you took, for example. That was an activity you were to do in Chapter 4. Mind maps. There's an example on page 125, figure 6.2 of a mind map, which is a visual review sheet showing the relationship between ideas and its visual patterns. Flashcards also help with memory as well as concentration. Summaries. You can benefit from writing a brief summary of a class topic, and it can help you as you prepare to answer short answer questions and essay questions on tests. Summarize main ideas and put them in your own words, and it will help you remember the information much better. I will say, trying to get students to do a summary is not something they typically choose to do unless they're told a grade is attached to it. But it is helpful to help you remember material that you have to be prepared for on a test. Let's see. Review the material that you underline. Like if you highlighted and underlined in your book or your notes. Some people don't want to write in their books, so perhaps you wrote and underlined in your notes. Write your ideas in a draft. Review the draft that you wrote. Test your memory. Schedule time to review your summary and double-check your memory shortly before the test. The next thing that I want to talk about is mnemonics. And I think I mispronounced it on a previous video. It is spelled with an M at the beginning, but it's pronounced mnemonics. It's a method or a trick to help you with remembering information. Mnemonics tend to fall into four basic categories: acronyms, acrostics, rhymes or songs, and visualization. Mnemonics provide a way of organizing material as a mental filing system. An example of how I use rhymes and songs, back to those multiplication facts. My daughter has not memorized them as well with flashcards, but she has learned songs. And the tunes might not be familiar to you, but she has a CD that has songs on it, and she hears those songs, and I can start humming the tune, and she remembers. She skip counts 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I can't remember the tune, but that's one of the things that has helped her. Acronyms and acrostics. A lot of times these are often mixed up. An acronym is like NGTC, North Georgia Technical College. Each letter stands for one thing. There's an acronym to help you remember the Great Lakes. It's called HOMES, H-O-M-E-S. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior, and I hope I got them all. The activity that we're going to do in Angel this week in this chapter is we're going to create an acrostic. And the acrostic can be about something in your field or your area, or something you're interested in. We can make an acrostic. I had hoped that we would have time to do this tonight, but we didn't, for the word college. My daughter made some acrostics, and she used our names, the letters of each of our names. I've got some listed in Angel. Once you click on the activity link, if you'll open that link up, you can see some examples that I listed for acrostics. Never eat sour watermelon stands for north, east, south, west, but I think that would be more of an acronym. An acrostic is more like a poem, and you can Google, you can go to Pinterest to search for acrostics. There are some that I'm going to put in the in Angel to give you for an example. Last thing, studying to understand and remember. And this list is on page 128 and 129. I listed the items that are in the bold print, and then there's further explanation there as well. Pay attention and avoid distractions. Be confident that you can improve your memory. Overlearn the material. Make studying a part of your daily routine. Check the internet. Go beyond memorizing words and focus on understanding them, remembering the big concepts and ideas. Look for connections between your life and what's going on in the content of your courses. Get organized. Reduce the stress in your life. Collaborate with others that are studying as well. Get a tutor. Once again, North Georgia Technical College Learning Centers. Go there. Ask for help. Ask your instructors. Tech tip on page 130 talks about using the cloud. There's lots of different ways you can use the cloud. There's Dropbox. There's Google Drive. MediaFire is listed in the book. I use Amazon Cloud. If you have an Apple product, they have iCloud, but there are others. That's another thing you can Google if you want to. This is not really helping you to understand and remember, but it's helping you to keep track of your things. Use a jump drive or thumb drive, whatever you call it, to save the things that you create on your computer. Save them on that jump drive. Don't just depend on your computer. I've had computers to crash. The jump drive will help you save those files externally. Thank you. Hope you have a good week. And if you have any questions, email me or text me. Thank you. Bye.